You can watch my previous Waking Titan recap episodes with a link in the description to a playlist which contains every episode. At the finishing of Phase 1, Elizabeth Layton gave us some time off before jumping into Phase 2.
As you can see, we're giving you time to rest and prepare yourself for what's coming.
On Friday, July 21st, 2017, the two sites WakingTitan.com and Project-WT.com were changed. The Project-WT site now contains 4 locks on the left of the world map, while on the Waking Titan site, we get a whole new look, still accompanied by the 15 glyphs at the bottom of the page. The site also features a terminal to which we have access. Several commands have already been discovered, namely the Whois directory. Then, a number of standalone commands. Typing ship redirects you to the ship we discovered in previous sequences. Typing help gives a list of commands, and the first being list. The list shows a few initialization names, shortened with init. Init is used in Unix-based computer operating systems and is the first process started during the booting of a computer system. We have 2 systems listed. Using start, we can initialize atlas.init and then csd.init. From there, the system asks for a seed to continue. A short time later, an email was sent out containing everything the Atlas Foundation CEO had promised. An individual code with a cipher attached to the message, and another survey. On top of which we saw some results from the previous survey taken, with overall percentages to certain answers. The survey in this new email was optional, but what fun would it be if you didn't turn over every rock? It contained straightforward questions, with one in particular that stood out from the rest. Look familiar? It was the question asked for the passcode from the London live drop for the 5th sigil.
You have a passcode for me?
I do.
What is it?
60.
16.
And while we still unlocked the sigil, many users disagreed with the final answer, forcing user Moles Mariner to give a few other answers.
All right. Were there any other answers you considered?
There were Orion, Hyperion,
which happened to be listed in this multiple choice section. I'm very curious as to what people have chosen for this answer and why it is so important to the Atlas Foundation. The question starts off with, in your personal opinion, which probably means nothing substantial could be affected from the answer, and is merely used to gauge the user's response on an individual basis, which could mean being categorized in a certain class, as mentioned in previous email. While the broader analysis gauges just how unified the mind of the community is, so choose wisely. Going from the individual survey, we then need to decipher the unique code given to us. By following the instructions in the message and using the cipher provided, we can see each number and letter revealed. My unique code was 9AEC3F3, with a set of actions of 1L, 1L, 2L, 3R, 5L, 8, 13. Well, I'll be. That is a Fibonacci sequence. That decodes to this, and the email says we need this to embark on our first mission, which is over on bootsector.wakingtitan.com. There we input the code and a multitude of hexadecimal values appear with an image behind them. Clicking the image icon on the top of the page, the codes disappear and we get a better look at the image, where each box correlates with a user's input. As the users put in their codes, the image filled up. In the image, we can see instructions for the terminal, including several seed variations written at the bottom of the page. One in particular is missing, presumably the one we need to input to continue the process on the console on WakingTitan.com. Here is how we find it. Starting with the seed on top, we add the first and last numbers together to get the last number of the next seed below. Doing the same thing with that seed, then again, and again, until we reach the blank seed. Here we find the last number. We can check to make sure it is indeed the correct number by taking the next seed in line and subtracting the first and last number, giving the same number. The first number can be found using the simple mathematics currently being applied. If we subtract the number we found from the last number in the next seed, we find the first number. We can double check this by adding the two numbers of the newly formed seed together to see that they match. The last bit of the missing seed are the names to the right. They follow a pattern of duplicates, each name appearing twice. The only name showing once is Etark. If we plug in the seed we discovered into the console on Vy'keen Titan, we get a warning message saying, "Process hibernating, unable to continue until wake up." Typing in wake loop 16 activates a wake up protocol, and loop 16 wakes with a greeting. "Hello, user." If we respond back with "Hello, loop 16, the wake up process completes with a note that new commands are available. It is important to mention that on the notebook page that we decoded is a note on the side saying loop 16 hibernating as of July 5th, which lines up with the last day we saw anything of Emily from the Etark forums. It's a safe assumption that Emily is loop 16. Somehow. By the way, thanks Emily for the shout out.
And finally, Kyle Culver.
I hope the Atlas Foundation is treating you right. Hang in there.
You guys
The last prompt finishes with warning calibration required before proceeding, preparing calibration instructions. And while the community worked hard to uncover more on the Vy'keen Titan console, the Vy'keen Titan Twitch account was out and about.
Driving across the landscape. Wait. What?
As always, the Atlas is watching us. On July 23, 2017, an email was sent out, starting with saying how we've successfully completed the boot sequence on Vy'keenTitan.com, and the system you'll use for the next phase is almost ready. It also mentions we've unlocked the first 2,500 level 4 Atlas passes, and 100 additional license keys for the Mercury process. We'll be collecting your postal addresses soon as a necessary step in fulfilling this and future mailings. Does this mean we can expect more to come in the mail other than just the physical Atlas pass? Some users already began receiving their keys. In the next section of the email, Boot System, it says, "The system you've booted is a complex piece of code designed by the Atlas Foundation to conduct small-scale simulations of your activities. A decision-making community such as yours is as difficult to model as a chaotic system like the weather, and long-term predictions are nearly impossible at this time." You can say that again. But we're hoping that you can help to train the system to be smarter and better. This is very intriguing. We're basically teaching this AI how to entertain our queries. That's where your next mission comes in. Mission Tango MI.6, the incomplete data set. If we go to this link, we fill out yet another survey, which also houses several puzzles. But first, we're given a veneer deciphering tool to use. After testing the cipher, the first puzzle is presented. The decoder passphrase is located on the code disk we had used in the previous section of this email. Using the outer disk, we spin -3 spots, then +13 spots, giving DA. Putting this in as the passphrase decoded the dataset. But even in the depths of their subjugation, there was hope. Korvac's ID Hyperion. Going back to the form and putting in the ID Hyperion, we move to the second puzzle. The hint for the passphrase uses numbers 275 and 355 on disks. The numbers are degrees according to the inner circle. If we point the disk to those particular degrees, we get C and F. If the Atlas is a god, then it is insane. Vy'keen ID Orion. We place Orion in the ID and move to the next puzzle. The code disk shows CDEF ? We can see the key contains 4 characters. If we look at the outer disk, we see combinations of letters and numbers. Each of these represent an element on the periodic table, where the letter is the chemical symbol and the number is the atomic number. Marking these down according to the disk, we see a pattern. We land on lead, which is a 4-letter word. Place this in the passphrase and we decode the message. Refusing to forgive the past. Do not worry, all is well. all is at peace. The blank are different now. Gek, ID Hastings. Putting in Hastings for the ID moves us to a congratulatory message saying there is an optional dataset left and asking if we want to try it. Sure, why not? Dataset D comes in with a code disk sequence as the hint to the passphrase, a jumbling of letters at first glance. When putting the rectangle box through a golden spiral, closely related to the Fibonacci spiral, we see the spiral intersect with specific letters. Using those letters in order, we get the key for the final message. Incoming transmission. Source unknown. You are not alone. Please identify yourself. I'm Race 4th, ID Mercury. Now, this mention of the fourth race, beyond the three we encounter in the game, being Gek, Vy'keen, and Korvax, was noticed shortly after the No Man's Sky game was released. It was found in the textures for NPCs. It was even labeled as a fourth race. However, anybody has yet to even see one in the game. This is the first confirmation of a fourth race outside of those files discovered in the game's folders. Putting in the last ID finishes the form. The next mission in the email is Delta 9L.1 Calibration Sequence, which introduces a collaborative task to help calibrate the simulation as a way for it to get to know us, the community. Their target benchmark is 40 cities from at least 8 time zones for this phase. The email concludes with, "We'll gauge your progress and adjust the system accordingly. This may include changing calibration tasks, so stay alert." Possibly more individual assignments? Once calibration is complete, we'll be in touch again with more information on your progress so far. Good luck, and remember, we're watching you. Oh yes, you've made that abundantly clear.
Why is Vy'keen Titan in my chat?
If we continue to the Project-WT link, we have the first lock replaced with a number 1. A prompt comes up welcoming us. The first assignment requires us to take a photo of a public resonant percussion instrument and submit it to the site, including a few descriptive notes. We can see progress on the map of the site, as well as on the console if we type calibration, which states the calibration is incomplete and gives a link to a Google Drive share folder labeled Calibration 1. I'm Kyle Culver, also known as Diabetic Gamer. As a reminder, all the links from this video are in the description, and until next time, good luck, traveler.